Merry Christmas and happy almost New Year. So, in 2023, we've looked at a lot of different tools, and I've shown you a lot of the ones that I use, that I've been kind of testing out and stuff like that. And I wanted to show you right here at the end of the year which tools of the ones we've seen and a few that we haven't seen yet are going to be coming with me into 2024 in my Tech Savvy Academy tech stack. So, stick around.
So you may or may not be aware of this, but I actually I'm a founder of the Tech Savvy Academy, but I'm also a co-founder of a second business in which I've collaborated with one of my business besties, one of my solopreneur friends, called Success Through Community. So I want to show you not just the tech stack that I will be using for 2024 for the Tech Savvy Academy, but also for success through community. And I want you to see something really important. So here is the Tech Savvy Academy tech stack for 2024. These are the online tools that I've been either working with or just started trying out this year. And these are the ones that are going to be coming with me into 2024. So you're going to see some potentially notable omissions here. But I do want to remind you, as I almost always say at the end of my videos, the online tools for your business do not need to be complicated or overwhelming. Guys, it is time to let it be easy. Okay, so for the Tech Savvy Academy, I'll be using OmniSend for email marketing as well as for like CRM kind of tool. It links seamlessly in with WooCommerce, which you'll see on the next line. And I'll be using WordPress using the Divi theme along with Wishlist Member for basically access control membership on my website. Wishlist also kind of comes partnered with something called Course Cure, which is how I host my online courses on my own platform. This is why you won't see anything like Kajabi or Thinkific or even Podia on this list, because I do that all hosted on my own website um, for multiple reasons, but the number one reason is price, to be honest. And then WooCommerce is just the e-commerce platform that I use to sell my courses and membership and things like that, which the membership's coming next year. Um, and it ties in seamlessly with OmniSend to be able to trigger automations and help keep track of my sales. Trello, of course, is still here. What you're not seeing here is Notion. And if you have been around the channel for a while this year, you've seen me trying out Notion and things like that. And I did use kind of a combo Notion Trello for a good part of this year. But I think my ultimate decision here is that I'm going to move forward with Trello, and not because I don't see the benefits or the pros that Notion has that Trello does not, but more because, again, I'm a proponent of keeping it simple and let it be easy, right? So if I keep everything within that one system, it's a lot easier to automate things and just keep things running as smoothly as possible. And then you'll also see Canva on here. I use Canva for so much. It's so much more even now because of all the new magic features that have been released this year. And I am so excited to see what they release next year. So I use that for all of my graphic design. I, of course, created this presentation in that. Um, and I do use it for some social media scheduling as well, although I have been leaning a little bit more towards Meta Business Suite for that. So I guess I could have or should have maybe added that to this list as well, but I still don't consider it fully a part of my tech stack yet. So that's why I didn't do that. Zoom, which I use for any like clarity calls or client sessions, things like that. And then Zapier, which if you don't know Zapier, however you want to say it, I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. But that is kind of like the magic behind the scenes that I think a lot of either not tech savvy or just newer business owners are not aware is even there. And honestly, most of your customers probably have no clue something like that is there either. And that is a third-party integration tool that is allowing some systems that don't natively have integration. Like I mentioned that WooCommerce and OmniSend have a seamless integration. But for example, when I used Notion for a while, I needed Notion and Trello to kind of interact with each other, and I needed to use Zapier to do that. So there's a million other reasons you might use it, but um, that is a super important tool that will always be in my tech stack. And then looking ahead at the Success Through Community tech stack for 2024, what you're going to see is a lot of familiarity. So again, we have OmniSend again, we have WordPress, Divi, and WooCommerce. We're just missing Wishlist here because we're not utilizing that sort of content control or membership platform or course creation. That could change, but for now, that is not something that we need for this business, so it's not included in the tech stack. Of course, we have Trello. We use this extensively in Success Through Community because my co-founder is not even in the same country as me. We need a place where we can collaborate and work together seamlessly. And so we use Trello for that. But we also use Trello as our exclusive community for our mastermind. So when members join a particular season of the mastermind, they get added to the Trello board for that mastermind. It's a place where they can find resources, they can ask questions, they can interact with other members all throughout the season. So you can see that Trello is very very versatile in that way. Then we've also got Patreon here. This one's relatively new for us, but we have decided to move away from Facebook communities for, again, multiple reasons. But we will be utilizing our Patreon as our free community, our free social community for podcast listeners and just other people who would like follow us on Instagram, things like that. But there will also, of course, Patreon is a place where people can buy into higher levels and get access to exclusive content and things like that. So we will be using Patreon in that way as well, of course. We also use Podbean for our podcast backend. So that's where we host and schedule our podcast episodes, as well as our commercials and all of that. We use Canva, again, in the same way that I use it for the Tech Savvy Academy. But again, we're able to join in as a team here so that we can literally work on the same designs at the same time, which is so helpful. Zoom for all of our podcast recordings. We do those all via Zoom. Also, our mastermind meetups are on Zoom because they're all virtual. Because like I said, my co-host, my co-founder, co-facilitator is in another country. So obviously we don't meet up in person. And then Zapier for all the same reasons that I use it for the Tech Savvy Academy. And when you look at the two side by side, you can see there's not a lot of difference there, right? I mean, there's a little bit less in this area because we don't need it. And there's a little bit more over here because there's a level of community and also the podcast hosting that is not needed for the Tech Savvy Academy. Other than that, they're the same. And that's because simplicity is key. So there's no reason for me to use one email platform with my business and a different one with my joint business. Why have the learning curve on two different platforms? Why not use the same thing in both places? And my co-facilitator, co-founder of Success Through Community, she is new to OmniSend. She's still using MailerLite, which is what we previously used for STC as well. But I think she might be coming around to seeing the benefits that I've been seeing in OmniSend, and she might be changing her tune there as well. So really just kind of want to finalize with yet again, it's time to let it be easy. There's no reason to have this super complicated tech stack. There's also absolutely no reason to have this super expensive tech stack. Yes, some of the items on here are things that I pay for, but honestly, more that I don't pay for than that I do pay for. So, there's no reason to have, I mean, I understand why people go for the expensive, the platforms that everybody's talking about and, that seems so easy and, just drop it in and it's just going to magically work for your business. But honestly, none of that actually is true. You still have to configure, you still have to set things up. Nothing is that plug and play. Okay. So you're going to have a learning curve regardless. Why not have a learning curve where you're not also spending like all of your budget on these subscriptions, right? Guys, I'll say it again and I'm going to say it all next year. It's time to let it be easy.